is. She'll be here in just a
Oh, really?
Yeah, she called in and said
Haven't
she
seen any
told
of
us
those.
to get started.
I mean, I've seen little deer, you know,
Mix that on?
but they're just little deer. You know, they're.
So the one I got last year,
That was a mature buck, though.
How are you this morning?
good. I think
I thought you were
Okay.
already going to be.
so. I just let it
Oh, I like that. Munir is calling us to order.
go. I just got that.
Munir, would you like to start? Since
No,
you're
it's
calling us to
fine.
order. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started with our commission meeting. I believe, Commissioner Gold, were you the one doing the prayer since I'm filling in? Yes, if you'll do the prayer and invocation for us.
Lord, thank you for this day and thank you for this country we live in. Thank you for allowing us to meet here together peacefully and to express our opinions. Lord, please protect those who protect us both far and abroad. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Madam Clerk, if you'll do roll call.
Yes, sir. Chairman Stone? Chairman Moore?
Here.
Commissioner Bryant?
Here.
Commissioner Gold?
Here.
Commissioner Zalek?
Here.
Okay, we'll start off with a few announcements. First announcement is I'm not Commissioner Stone. She'll be here momentarily. She asked us to go ahead and get started. She's just been detained.
Detained?
Yeah, detained. Well, nice way of saying she's running a few minutes behind schedule. Okay. Anyway, we have a few announcements. Let me just flip to them. Give me 1 second here. But if you have cell phones, please turn them off as a courtesy to others. Either put them on silence, vibrate, or turn them off, or we join in your conversation, or you pay us $1,000. You solve the county's budget problems that way. And if you, when you come to the podium, in a moment, we're going to have public comment. When you come to the podium, if you previously signed up, you get 5 minutes to speak. And the first part is on agenda items that are on our agenda. At the end, it's on any item. And if you haven't signed up, you get 2 minutes to speak. And of course, always address the county commissioners. Let's see, the announcements for our scheduled meetings is on October 15th at 10 a.m. We will have a public hearing to consider an adoption of an ordinance for Cherrywood Preserve, Phase 1, municipal services benefits, so that's in about 50 minutes. We'll be having that. Later today at 1:50, we'll have a commission meeting to convene a meeting of the Marion County Redevelopment Area Board. At 2 o'clock, we'll have a commission meeting, which is zoning, which is regularly scheduled for the third Tuesday of every month. On October 15th at 2 p.m. or as soon thereafter, we have a public hearing to consider a road closure petition associated with Silver Spring Shores, Unit 41. Welcome. And also 2 p.m. afterwards, or as soon as thereafter, public hearing to consider a road closure associated with the town of Fairfield. October 29th, 10 a.m., commission workshop regarding public safety communications. October 29th, also 4 p.m., the Ocala Marion County Transportation Organization, regularly scheduled for the fourth Tuesday of every month. October 30th, this workshop will be considered for rescheduling today's meeting, but currently it's October 30th at 9 a.m. Commission workshop for the joint workshop with the City of Bellevue. November 5th at 9 a.m., commission meeting regularly scheduled for the first and third Tuesday of every month. And then also at 10 a.m. that morning, we'll have a public hearing to consider an amendment to the Land Development Code. And with that, I'll turn it over to Commissioner Stone, our chairwoman.
Thank you so much, and I apologize for my tardiness this morning. But I do thank you all for starting on time and for taking care of business in my absence. That'll take us then to our proclamations and presentations.
So moved. Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Bryant, second by Commissioner Moore. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. And our first proclamation this morning will be a mediation, recognizing Mediation Week. And if we have Lynn Cummings, the mediation coordinator, if you'll join us down front, Commissioner Bryant is going to award that. And you're welcome to bring anyone else with you.
Judge McKeon.
I see the judge with us. Yeah, great. is a great service, and we welcome everyone from the court system with us. We've got several judges, and good morning. Thank you for being here.
Judge, good to see you.
Well, good morning, everyone. How nice to see you all here this morning. I understand that Lynn couldn't be with us this morning. She is in court, so taking care of necessities with someone else, I am sure. Judge McCune, thank you for being here with us this morning. And with that, we will go ahead and go into our proclamation. And this is a proclamation on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners of Marion County, Florida. Whereas Marion County, Florida has been a leader in recognizing and promoting mediation as an alternative to litigation, and whereas administrative agencies, courts, and court-sponsored programs use mediation to effectively and efficiently resolve disputes, and whereas mediation is a voluntary, non-adversarial, and informed method of conflict resolution that empowers individuals and businesses to develop solutions to conflicts which are mutually agreeable and tailored to their particular needs. And whereas mediation is taught and practiced in many of our schools, not only as a means of resolving individual disputes, but also as a means of achieving a more peaceful society. And whereas community-based mediation programs strengthen relationships among Marion County citizens by assisting in the resolution of neighborhood and community conflicts. Now, therefore, the Board of County Commissioners of Marion County, Florida, by virtue of the authority vested in us, do hereby proclaim that the week of October 13th through the 19th, 2019, be known as Mediation Week in Marion County, Florida, and the Board urges all citizens in recognizing the significant contributions of peaceful conflict resolvers and to extend greetings and best wishes to all observing Mediation Week. Duly proclaimed this 15th day of October 2019, signed by all 5 county commissioners and attested to by David Ellsperman, clerk of the court. So I will hand this to you to begin with, and then you're going to get the mic so that you can tell us if there's anything going on in Mediation Week. All right, thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Debbie Clark, and I am the Director of Case Management of the 5th Judicial Circuit. Among many of our programs, the mediation program is one that I'm very, very proud of. We have several volunteers here today, and they're so dedicated that they're going to, most of them at least, are going to leave here and run over to the courtroom and start mediating right away because this happens to be a court day. And that's why Lynn's not here today, because she is also so dedicated that she's actually in the courtroom as well. Again, we save lots of money for the county, but we also help all of our citizens that are involved in the court system with small claims, an opportunity to help resolve their own differences with one another. And so sometimes, and in fact, most of the time, they come out much more satisfied than when a judge has to make that decision for them. So we're very, very proud. I know we have a very special guest here also today, and that is Judge McCune, and I know he would probably like to just say a couple quick words to everyone, too.
I'll just say thanks, and blessed are the peacemakers.
Short and sweet. Again, thank you all for what you do. To our volunteers, thank you for what you do. You are critical to the survival of many of the programs that we have here in Marion County, Florida. And thank you, and happy Mediation Week. So, all right.
Just my height. Can say right there. Oh, my height. Anyway.
Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you again.
Thanks. We'll see you. Thanks again, Judge McKay. Nice to see you again. Thank you so much. So our next presentation this morning is going to be to recognize our Employee of the Quarter. And this is going to be through July through September. So Amanda Tart, who is our Human Resources Director, is going to take it from here. And Amanda, do you want us to stay on this side?
Yes, ma'am. Yep. Good morning, Commissioners. Amanda Tart, Human Resources Director. We are here again to recognize employees, and this time it's for Employee of the Quarter. As Commissioner Stone said, this is for July through September of 2019. I just want to point out this is our second time awarding this, and each time we make sure that we do a thorough look at each one of these candidates that are nominated, and it's a really big deal to be nominated. We get really great nominations. It's hard to go through them. Our Ideal Team Player Committee has a tough time each and every time going through these nominations, and we have really great employees, and sometimes they're in there deliberating for quite some time, trying to figure out who is going to be the employee that gets awarded the Employee of the Quarter. So we have invited all of our nominees to be here. I know that there is a couple that are not able to make it, but I'm going to call each of them up on stage in a quick fashion. They'll all come up, and then we'll announce the winner on the stage with you all. Okay? All right, so the nominations for Employee of the Quarter for July through September of 2019. From Procurement Services, we have Sherry Chenevere and Michelle Connell. Marion County Fire Rescue, we have Lieutenant Todd Heim. From Utilities, we have Alejandra Rad. Parks and Recreation, we have Stacy Farrell and Jonathan Norcross. And from the Office of the County Engineer, we have Kevin Cash, Greg Helt, Ricardo Echeverra, Farron Hall, Devin Horn, Zach Roundtree, Cindy Sato, and J.R. Gurens. And I'm sorry, we have one more from Procurement Services, Susan Moreland. From Animal Services, we have Tina Ballou, Robin Bishop, Julie Stinson, Natalie Solis, and Brianna Hicks. From Marion County Soil and Water Conservation, Ann Bishop. And from the Building Safety Department, we have Karen Robinson, Michael Brown, and Keith Formal. And from Gross Services, we have Ken Wayrock and Cindy Garr. And Kristen. Congratulations. Okay. You mean to announce the winner first? Okay. So the employee.
Before you do that.
Okay.
Okay, so I just want to say something. I mean, if you look across this stage, I mean, this is excellence in action right here. And so congratulations. On behalf of the board, we're proud of all of you. We're proud of the level of service that you pride yourself on doing and serving our community with. And so truly, thank you for the hard work, and thank you for doing it at such a high level of excellence. And so you're all winners, but we do have one, and Ms. Tart is going to make that announcement next.
Okay. So the selection committee has selected Mr. J.R. Gurens as the employee of the quarter for the quarter ending in September of 2019. Mr. Gurens has worked in the office of the County Engineer Department since 2005. He is currently an OCE Engineering Project Manager within the Stormwater Division. And Mr. Gurens was nominated for displaying an overall excellent cooperation toward county goals and objectives. Mr. Gurens has stepped up to take a leadership role in the absence of the vacant stormwater engineer position. He has kept the Stormwater Division on track and has played an integral role in making sure projects are completed per scope and on time. He has also acted as a mentor to both inspectors and project managers in the Stormwater Division by sharing his vast knowledge and experience. Mr. Gurens spends a great deal of time teaching his coworkers how to deal with contractors and the public in a professional manner in order to help projects flow more smoothly. Mr. Gurens understands what needs to be done to complete tasks and can often be seen coming in early and staying late to get the job done. In addition to performing his normal work duties, Mr. Gurens has taken on all of the administrative duties normally performed by the stormwater engineer and has performed these duties seamlessly in their absence. According to his director, Mr. Gurens is the go-to person in stormwater and has helped keep staff in the Stormwater Division motivated while providing sound guidance. Congratulations, JR.
Yes, ma'am. So if you're my height or shorter, I'm gonna ask you to stand down here. That way, I'm not calling you short, because I'm short.
Vertically disadvantaged.
Exactly, Commissioner. And then if the rest of you can find a spot behind them and line up. And like he's somewhere with the chairman. Up front. Shorter. Yeah. I'm probably not going to get everybody. That's a lot of people.
Oh, you're just giving
Don't let them manage And I'm going to want one with just JR in this, so don't run away in a second. Thank you. And then if I can have the commission and JR stand by.
Congratulations, everybody, and thank you for all the
You want us to step back?
Yes, ma'am. You guys can step back just a little bit. The emblem.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Enjoy your day.
You should have the best beard award.
It's always great to be able to recognize those who have gone above and beyond. And what's so wonderful about that award is they are recognized by their peers and others. So that truly is something to be proud of. So hope they can still hear me as they leave the courtyard. They truly are the best of the best, and we appreciate them for what they've done this quarter. That's going to take us into our agenda item, public comments. And with that, I'm not sure. I've got one person who has signed up. I don't think we have a mental health item. Well, we actually do with the centers, so I'm going to bring that forward, although it's section 12, so never mind. Okay, do we have anyone who has not signed up that has an item pertaining to the agenda? If you are here and there is something pertaining to the agenda that you would like to speak on, I'll invite you to come forward now.
Henry Munoz, 495 Marion Oaks Boulevard. I think it's item 10. You're selecting someone for the advisory council for the MSTU. Okay. I would like Ms. Smith to be selected because the other person will come on, and she's already applied a long time ago. And the other person will come on the next meeting because I have another vacancy. It seems that the men are dying to get out. Okay?
Thank you, Mr. Muniz.
Welcome.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I don't know if this is...
If you'll just give your name and address for the record.
I'm sorry, it's
That's
Claire
okay.
Term, it's my first time here. Okay, the address is 18755 Southwest 44th Street, and I have a letter to read. If you all would listen to me, please, it's important.
We've got a 2-minute time frame.
I can do
and
it in
so-
2 minutes.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am, you go right ahead.
In Dunellen, years ago, some sheriffs was corrupt. They were getting money, corrupt money. My son got the FDLE to clean it up. In turn, the corrupt sheriffs got 2 doctors to get medicine to kill him. Over time, they thought this would kill him. Instead, it hurt his organs. The hospital, 7 Rivers, took x-rays and they discovered some brain cells were gone. There was a Dr. Jones in Gainesville, took his bowel movements and tested and found that the stuff was still in him. Now, years later, he was found to be schizophrenic from that problem. They covered it up, the law enforcement, and got away with this crime in Dunellen. This was years ago now. He has no insurance. He said he'd put in for disability 5 years ago and nothing. He needs a place for treatment, no treatment. He can't work. He has pain mentally and physically. He's got anger towards the sheriff's department now, and I can't help him. I can't find any place to help me. Social Security needs his approval to talk with me. He won't give it. He's not capable to be controlled with the problems he's got. Mental health, now I'm going to say this stinks in Marion County. It is not for poor people. He needs his medicine. He needs his Medicare and Medicaid to go to a doctor and get medicine to help his problems. Can you help him? The system of mental health, it needs more funding for poor people. Right now, 3 days in crisis plan, they send him back home and it starts all over again. He is not capable. He has hit me, spit in my face. He doesn't know what he's doing. He can get violent. I'm afraid if he doesn't get help, he will kill himself or me. I'm 81 years old and I don't know what to do. Now I understand why so much crimes are going on. Hardly no treatment for mental illness, no funding, no politician don't know how to handle this problem. I've been through the system and it stinks. And I have a husband and son. They were, both of them, they were retired from the service, okay? My son fought in Iraq. He's dead now. What the problem with is he retired from the service and he couldn't handle what he's seen. He drank himself to death. His wife left him, and before that, and he drank himself to death. My husband was in Vietnam, and both of them fought for this country. And now here I'm left with this problem, and I don't know what to do about it. I don't know who to turn to. I came here today thinking maybe somebody could help me again. If I can't get through the disability people, because he won't sign papers, but he's not right in his mind, he can get a doctor and he can get medicine on Medicare and this other thing they got. I don't know how to go about all this stuff. I don't know who to turn to help.
Ms. Turman, if you will step next door and leave a phone number that we can contact you, our assistant, Nadja Griffiths, will take your number and we'll look to see if there is somebody that we can at least connect you with. That's not any jurisdiction that we
That's what I thought. I wasn't sure.
But we'll certainly look to see if there is someone that we can connect you with, and we wish you the best and for your son as well. God bless you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Is there anyone else? Thank you, Ms. Tart, for making sure that she walks next door appropriately. We appreciate that. I'm going to close public comment, seeing no one else coming up. That will take us into adoption of 3 sets of minutes.
So moved.
I've got a motion by Commissioner Moore. Second by Commissioner Gold. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. That's going to then take us into our constitutional officers and governmental and outside agencies. Do we have anyone from the court system? I think we do. Coming forward to address the board. If you'll just give your name and position.
Good morning. I'm acting trial court administrator, so you're stuck with me today. Trial court administrator is in China, and Todd Tuzolino, the chief deputy, is in Georgia. So You get me, I'm generally the general counsel, but today I'm acting trial court administrator, Jeff Fuller.
Thank you, Mr. Fuller.
We are asking the request is to approve and enter an agreement between the Fifth Circuit and Marion County to provide funding for a court program specialist, one position for the Veterans Treatment Court. This is kind of the same process, the procedure that we have for one of the other positions in our problem-solving courts. It's a very beneficial position. We have currently 20, let me make sure I have the numbers completely correct here. We have 20 people in our Veterans Treatment Court. Since 2012, though, there have been 140 veterans that have come through our Veterans Treatment Court. 93 of those have graduated and moved on to be successfully through the program. And this is one of the programs that's really important to me, I think, because it's helping people who have already served us, and now we get a chance to serve them. And this position, a case manager, is going to be there to help move the process along.
It's certainly a worthy program as well as position. So I'll bring it to the board. If there's,
moved.
I've got a motion by Commissioner Moore with a second by Commissioner Gold. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Commission, and thank you so much for the support that you give our problem-solving courts. Lots of the things that we're able to do through our problem-solving courts we wouldn't be able to do without the wonderful support that we get from the Commission. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And
Thank you for all you do, sir.
indeed, we wish you all a great day. That's going to take us now to our clerk of the court, Mr. Ellsperman.
Morning, Madam Chair.
Morning.
Items 5A1 through 6 are the budget amendments as listed.
So moved.
Got a motion by Commissioner Moore with a second by Commissioner Bryant to approve 5A1 through 5A6. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Got a little bit of time, so we'll go to consent, and I'll start to my right. Commissioner Zalek, do you have anything to pull?
Just the 5A6. Not sorry, 5A6, but the compactor. 7G.
7G7.
7G7.
Thank you.
7G7. And Commissioner Moore.
7F3.
7F3. And Commissioner Gold. Commissioner Bryant?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I would like to pull 7G3, and we will bring it back at a later date. We still need to do some checking on this contract.
Okay, so we're going to pull 7G3 and not take any action on that today.
That's correct. Thank you.
Okay. So can I get a motion to approve the remainder?
So moved.
I've got a motion by Commissioner Moore.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gold to approve the consent with the exception of 7G7 and 7F3 and 7G3. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Commissioner Zalek,
Who's
7G7.
gonna answer questions on it?
Go ahead.
So has it been put back in service?
Not yet.
Not yet.
It's
So
still being
just-
repaired.
How long did they say? I was just
I
curious.
don't have a timeline,
We don't know.
no, but it's in the process being repaired.
It's being rebuilt now?
Yes.
At Ring Power? Okay.
Yes.
So we've got 7G7 that's related to fire damage for a compactor, and did we rent a compactor in the absence?
We did, and the insurance is paying for the repairs and for the rent.
And for the rental? Okay.
Okay.
I was just wanting to get an update on when that would be back in service, obviously, but.
We'll get you a date.
That's fine. So I'll move the 7G7.
I've got a motion by Commissioner Zalek with a second by Commissioner Moore to approve 7G7. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Commissioner Moore, 7F3.
Well, since I've probably brought this up every year since I've been on the board, I figured why break tradition? But just with the 3% raises, of course, I'm in favor of them. I was just going to see if the board would entertain a 1% COLA and a 2% merit. And see if anyone would go with that. If not, I'll be in the same position I was before. I don't see anyone jumping up and down for that, so, okay, I'll go ahead and make a motion for as it currently is then.
So we've got a motion by Commissioner Moore with a second by Commissioner Zalek to approve 7F3, which is to approve the merit increase distribution of 3% across the board through the 1920 budget year. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Commissioners.
Damn, poor Amanda didn't come up and have to speak.
That's going to take us to our county attorney. Good morning, Mr. Minter.
Morning, Madam Chair. Item 8A is requesting direction from the board regarding our opiate litigation. As the board's aware, we filed and joined in a class action lawsuit against the opioid manufacturers and distributors. It's a very complicated proceeding that goes through what's called the multi-district litigation procedure in federal court. There are approximately 34,000 cities and county governments in the United States. Currently, 2,200 of those cities and counties have actually joined in the lawsuit. A particular federal judge in Ohio has been designated as the manager of all this litigation, if you'd like to have that job. And so part of what is being proposed here is this negotiating class. So basically the negotiating class would involve all 34,000 of these local governments in the United States. All 34,000 of those agencies, including Marion County, City of Ocala, or other municipalities, have received a notification, and the question before them is, do you want to affirmatively opt out of the negotiating class? If we do not take action to opt out of the negotiating class, the court will deem that we want to stay in the negotiating class. The outside law firm that we have representing us in this litigation strongly recommends that we stay in the negotiating class, which would mean that we would not take any action today. In the materials provided to you for backup, they reference a website concerning the opioids negotiating class information, and if anybody wants to, you can go to that website. You can click on an allocation map that will take you actually to the state and county that you're in, and it gives you a hypothetical distribution. So the key word there is hypothetical. So the idea is that it's trying to give you an idea of what your agency might get out of this. So for instance, if there was a settlement amongst all the parties in the amount of $1 billion, you go to that site and it demonstrates that the entire county share of that would be $936,901. Again, that's based on a hypothetical. Then the idea or the rule is that within the county, then there would be a further allocation between the county and the municipalities in Marion County based on certain formulas. They would encourage the parties to try to work together to resolve the allocation issue. They give a hypothetical breakdown, for instance, between the county and City of Ocala of $718,000 for the county and $203,000 for the city. But again, all these are just for instances. Those numbers don't really mean anything, in fact, today, just to give you an idea. So anyway, it seems like if you've been following the media at all, the members of the public here, it's obvious that some settlements have already been reached. Some companies like Purdue Pharma, they filed bankruptcy. They're fighting tooth and nail to hold on to their family assets and so forth. But I think it's good that the county joined in this litigation. And again, the recommendation is for the board not to opt out of the negotiating class. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them for you.
Thank you, Mr. Mentor, for going through that detail for us. Board, do you have any questions, any comments or thoughts about this? If not, then we need to take an action if we'd like to remain in the negotiation class.
No, if you want to remain in, you don't have to take
We
any
don't
action.
do anything.
Yeah.
So the motion to either remain in or not, you don't need a motion if we remain in.
I don't need to send them anything. If you want to make a
Okay.
motion to remain in, that's fine,
Okay.
and that'll tell me not to opt out. So,
Okay.
Or we just take no action.
Or we take no
take
action.
no action, and yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine, as long as you've got direction. And so it looks like from the board's consensus, then it's our desire that we take no action so that we remain in the negotiation class.
I'll communicate that to our attorney. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mentor. Do
I
you
have
have
nothing
any?
further. Yep.
No, okay. Mr. Administrator.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
The first item, 9A, is to give you a recommended calendar for the 2020 calendar year. On the last page of this agenda item, you have the whole calendar year shown on one page, and I would like to talk about few dates that I'm recommending making some changes from the regular meeting. For example, on January the 21st, that's usually a regular board meeting, and that is the day following Martin Luther King holiday. And on the 22nd and the 23rd, we will be in Tallahassee representing or engaged with tourist development and Marion County Day in Tallahassee. So I'm recommending on the 21st that we do hold our regular meeting in the morning. We will, from administration side, we will try to keep that meeting as short as possible, only for urgent and important item to be discussed that day. And I would recommend that you hold the zoning meeting starting at 9:30 in the morning or as soon thereafter. That will give you a chance. We're gonna have a big zoning meeting on that day. That will give you a chance to finish the zoning items and be able still have time to travel to Tallahassee during hopefully daylight time. Also in January, I'm recommending that we hold the strategic planning workshop on January 16. It's shown in green on the calendar. The other changes we are dealing with is they are in March. We have a conflict with the NACO conference in DC. So I'm recommending we move the regular board meeting to be on the second Tuesday of the month and the fourth Tuesday of the month. Okay. And also in July, we have dates already set, reserved, to be able to hold your budget workshops without any conflict with the NACO conference too. And the same thing applies to September. We have 2 dates selected for the public hearings and avoiding a conflict with the FAC conference. Those are the changes for next year, if you would approve.
I'll bring it to the board for comments or a motion to approve as presented.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I've got a motion by Commissioner Gold with a second by Commissioner Gold. Further discussion?
Yeah, I mean, I am a little curious on our January meeting. Is it really necessary for us to change the times of our zoning meeting? Or do we have any events that night that we have to be at up in Tallahassee?
You don't have any events that evening. The events start Wednesday morning. We try to give you time to travel. The zoning is gonna be long. We have several items on that zoning agenda that may be time consuming.
How long do we think it's gonna be?
Too early.
Sam, you wanna,
3 hours.
can you get to the podium, Sam?
3 or 4 hours.
I don't know what's on that agenda.
I don't either.
I just know that I've been told it's going to be
Sam
lengthy.
Martz, Marion County Growth Services Director. Yeah, if we start at the regular time too, it could get to 6 o'clock. I think that's what they were worried about. It could get to 5 or 6. There's some larger PUDs.
It's whatever your direction. We're doing this to accommodate your travel time, so
Which ones are they, Sam? You know offhand?
McGinley, Roberts, Card Room. There's a few.
Let's do it the way.
Why are you loading up one agenda like that, Sam?
It's not.
As soon as they
I
told
know,
me
I'm
not to
just-
load it, that's what happened.
I'm just teasing.
I think it's smart to do it early.
Would we?
Then
Okay.
break for lunch.
Or we could just come back even an hour earlier.
I was thinking come back at 1. I don't know. I mean, and would we be sure? Well, of course, we would provide plenty of notice, and.
Well, we got plenty of time for the notice.
It is zoning. 9:30 though, is that going to give us enough time to do
10
our?
o'clock?
We're gonna
It's gonna be
keep
short.
the regular agenda short.
Okay.
If you direct so, I mean, those are recommendations to you.
I'm good with that. I'm good with early.
It's the pleasure of the board.
Yep.
I'm good with it early.
I would like to see us at least give our board meeting an hour.
Okay.
So, I
Start at
mean,
10.
I think that you never know what's going to come up, and we don't want to not give ourselves enough time to be able to address something that we might need to address. So I'd like to see us at least give our board meeting
10
an
o'clock.
hour, and then we can transition into zoning at 10. And of course, everybody will get plenty of notification, so it shouldn't be an issue, correct?
So it,
The motion.
We can also do it, Commissioner, too, like, we can
Do-
do 1 or 2 of the PUDs and give notice for them to start at 10, and we can give notice for a different one to start at 1 o'clock. I mean, you could move it a little bit so that, and then people have sure times, right, instead of having to take off the entire morning.
Yeah.
Or do that kind of thing. I mean, we could,
Yeah,
And
if you-
I'd be fine with that as well, because then that would also probably give us a time to
Instead
have a
of-
little break
instead of
for
having
lunch.
3 back-to-back
And have
starting at
everybody
10.
sitting here.
for 3 hours. I mean,
If-
for the people, too, I think if we actually started them at a said time,
well,
Spaced out a
as
little
best
bit.
as possible.
Right.
So I think when you and I spoke, Mr. Boyonis, it was, we'll advertise for 9:30 or as soon as
soon
thereafter, recognizing that we may go longer in our board meeting to accommodate the business that's necessary, go straight into the zoning that morning. But I do think Commissioner Zalek makes a great point to give us the break and put something in the afternoon so that we know that we're going to get some sort of a break in there
Well, and then-
midday.
Yeah, and you
and
don't
then
have
bring it
people, as he
back.
said, sitting here all day.
If you agree with the concept, we can make sure, I mean, we work on the details.
Okay.
We will advertise it in advance so everybody is on the
put
same
one of
page.
those larger ones at 1 o'clock.
Right.
I think that'll,
It-
I think, I don't know, Commissioners, but.
Well, and I also think it's
want
also
people
very
sitting
good
here.
when we've got them back to back like that, to have a small break, because I think that we all can agree that,
You need
it
some.
gets taxing.
Right, and to just clear the brain for a few moments before we tackle the next one. Okay,
And if I could, the 2 larger ones are not anything that would be a surprise to you. They're more, tidying up and tying up some overdue master plans and some things like that. So really won't know till the planning commission how quick it goes, but I think we could get it all done in the morning. I mean, being, all the engineers and the attorneys and people have to be here in the mornings just as inconvenient as being here at 2 in the afternoon, so.
We'll get you more details if you agree with the concept to do it that way.
Okay.
And with the exception of give an hour for our morning meeting, Madam
Okay,
Chair.
we'll do that.
Agree
sure,
with that.
yes. Okay, so, did you get that, Madam Clerk?
Yes, I have a motion and a second, but I didn't have.
We don't have a vote yet. I'm ready to call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Thank you, and thank you for looking to the future on how we're going to structure next year. I think that gives us great planning.
Thank you, Commissioner. Item 9B. With this item, Commissioners, I am presenting to the board the findings from the review of the solid waste operation related to the clerk's report number 2019-08 with allegations from an anonymous complaint regarding the services of Busy Bee. The findings are summarized in the report, and 2 things I would like to highlight. I wanted to assure you that every dollar owed to the county was accounted for, and it has been paid, or it's in the process of being billed and being paid. In that regard, Busy Bee Services have they are up to date on their account and they have paid all the late fees that were charged. The other thing I wanted to highlight, lessons learned from this review, led to a list of recommendations that they are presented on the last page of the report. Those recommendations, some of them are already implemented, and some will take more work and more evaluation before they are implemented. One of the recommendation is if we can't provide more controls in-house, to probably look for an outside vendor to do the billings for us like we do at utilities. That needs a little bit more research and a little bit more evaluation, and actions like this will have to come back to the board for final approval. The report is very detailed and summarized exactly what has happened on all the 3 allegations, and I am open for any questions that you may have.
I'll bring it to the board.
So, Madam Chair, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Just a couple comments.
Sure, Alec.
Obviously, this involves my company, and
So Commissioner Zalek, are you going to be speaking as a business owner or as a commissioner?
Can I do both, or what would you like?
Well, I would say if you're addressing the commission as a commissioner, you're welcome to keep your seat. If it is more as a business owner, I would suggest that you would be at the podium.
Really? However you would like, Madam Chair. It's
I'll
up to
let
your-
you choose how you choose to respond. I just want to give appropriate reference as it is for anyone else.
So would you like me to step up to the podium for all comments then?
That,
This way-
that would be your choice.
Sure.
Sure.
No problem. 2 minutes. My name is Carl Zalek. I live at 22641 Northeast 108th Avenue Road, Fort McCoy, Florida. Good? So, Commissioners, in regards to the report, it had come to my attention that both my company that I own, Busy Bee Waste Services, had been late on some bills. And both Solid Waste Department seem to be going through a transition in personnel and leadership. And my company itself, we had some employment changes going on at the same time. This led to some inefficiencies on our end, and we made a mistake by entering some of the bills in an incorrect way. Busy Bee processed those wrong, and they didn't come out to payment like they normally would have on our back-end system. Of course, we were never contacted or asked any questions by the initial investigation, so we never got a chance to really give that side of the story. That incurred some late charges over the time. We found out about it. We paid the bill in full. We paid the late charges. The assumption that our company had never paid late charges before is obviously evident in the report's findings that we have always paid them over the course of doing business. We were done just under $215,000 worth of disposal over the years as a customer of Marion County Solid Waste. And then we had some late fees during that time, especially during the Great Recession, as all companies struggled during bankruptcies of customers. And we made it through that, continued to pay that. We paid, I think, in the estimated area, just under $5,000 in late fees over the years. So I think that what you see here at the end of the day is a mistake on our part of inputting those. We're sorry about that. We definitely made a mistake in our billing side of things and got behind. And when it got caught by and was notified by the Assistant County Administrator, we, of course, worked to pay our bill right away, pay everything up to date, and make sure that we are in good standing, both as a company and as a sitting county commissioner. You know, you don't ever want to see those things. But I'm glad that we were able to catch that and make sure that, you know, we were able to take care of all those things. My company, along with 7 other companies, weren't charged late fees, I guess, during the course of the investigation and the scope. And as Mr. Bona said, all of that was fixed and resolved over time. So there's been plenty of articles in the paper in order to show the reference to different options. I'm glad we're taking steps on both sides to make sure that doesn't happen in the future. And again, we truly are trying to make it even better on our side, because it's, of course, none of those things happen if we didn't make a mistake in the first place on making sure that those bills were appropriately applied. It happens, usually it never happens that long because somebody lets you know pretty early if you're running behind, but we made that mistake, and we apologize for that. Any questions?
I don't think so.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zalek, and I appreciate your willingness to be transparent with this board and address the board appropriately at the podium. So thank you for that. What I would give direction to Mr. Boyones is to definitely look at these recommendations, ensure that our gap has, whatever gap is there, it has been identified, and we take appropriate action so that we never see this again. As well as, most importantly, I think it's important that our employees understand that as sitting commissioners, we should never get any sort of exceptional treatment whatsoever. We serve as a citizen when we're not making policy, and we would never expect that our employees would give us any preferential treatment, that this county would ever attempt to do business with us inappropriately for the sake of transparency and doing business for our own ethics, that we should be above and beyond what the normal citizen would even be.
Yes, Commissioner.
So whether it's this sitting board or any other board, and in the future.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, ma'am.
Yes.
Also, as a commissioner, again, I want to thank this board, and I want to thank our employees, because the reality is that where the real rub comes in is as a commissioner, if you do get some kind of special privilege or special gain from your office, that's where it becomes absolutely inappropriate. I'm thankful that we did a full interview panel, and of course that it showed that I didn't ever ask an employee, for any special treatment or to waive late fees for me or to do anything for that, or a representative of our company, is at least. So that's what the report says, and I want to make sure that people know that I don't go down there and ask for those things, that I'm very conscious of that as a business owner and in the county commissioner, and playing those roles and doing that. And at the same time, I think that, but understanding that even though you're doing some business or paying the county for a service, most citizens interact with the government at some level, and having that interaction, although in this case showed no wrongdoing, I want to make sure people know that we're not asking for favors. None of us come up here and ask for special treatment. I've never heard that once from any of the commissioners. I've never heard that once from an employee. And so I appreciate the truthfulness in this investigation, and the fact that we, especially because people attack you, and you go through that process, and people put out claims or at least leave it out in the air that these things could be happening. And I want to make sure people know that I never asked for special treatment, because that's an improper thing. And if any employee ever has that information, not only do you go to the clerk's office, but please take it straight to the state attorney's office for prosecution, because I don't ever want anybody to think that I would use my position for that kind of gain. That's not what we're here to do. That's not what we're here to serve for. And I appreciate the employees of Marion County being honest in that regard.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
I'll just mention the training side. We just need to make sure that all employees treat everybody, regardless of who they are, fair, and same way they would treat their own mother. And I think they do, but just make sure that everybody has that thing that where it's a fair and balanced, regardless of who it is. If it's your best friend, your worst enemy, you treat them with dignity, respect, treat everybody equally, and never give especially these 5, don't give preferential treatment ever.
Thank you.
Thank you,
There is no action to be taken on that. Did you have anything else, Mr. Boyones?
No, Commissioner, there will be no action necessary unless I bring items back to you in the future for board action. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, if I may, I just want to thank you as the chair and our county administrator for the role you played in this and the conversations you had with me directly in reference to the audit process. We've been criticized publicly for not going further in that investigation, only because I did not let it be known that having conversations with you and the county administrator, that was the plan all along. And I want to thank the county administrator for his role and follow-up.
Thank you. Yes, and I'll publicly acknowledge Ms. Tart for taking a strong lead there and working so closely, and Mr. Mentor with helping craft those questions. So again, it was yeoman's work. I hope we don't ever have to find ourselves in need of doing something like that in the future. So thank you, Mr. Elsperman. That's going to take us now to our public hearing, and this is to consider the adoption of an ordinance to create a municipal services benefit unit for the general maintenance and capital improvements associated with the proposed Cherrywood Preserve Phase 1 subdivision. And we have Mr. Hubbock, who is going to review this with us.
Yes, good morning. Sean Hubbock with the
If we could
MSTU.
Thank you, Mr. Hubbock. I've just been reminded we need to verify that we have proof of publication, and so thank you, Mr. Elsperman, for helping me here.
Thank you. I have proof of publication of legal ad number A0009586679, entitled Notice of Public Hearing, published in the Star Banner newspaper on September 20th, 2019.
Very good. Thank you. Mr. Hubbock.
Yes, good morning again. Sean Hubbock, MSTU Assessment Director. This item is to adopt the ordinance for an MSBU related to the Cherrywood Preserve development. It is a new development. It's should be the plat finalized probably within the next 30 days, and this is just a process. We're not moving forward next to a rate resolution. We'll wait to work with the developer in the timing of implementing the collections in the future.
Okay. Thank you so much. Do we have anyone in the public to speak on this matter? If so, I'll invite you forward now.
Roger Nectel, 12727 Southeast 97 Terrace Road in beautiful Summerfield. I'm just curious what the improvements, capital improvements would be on what? On the homes or the common areas or?
So, Mr. Nectel, originally when we talked about this several years ago, as you know, because you come to our meetings, every now and then we have people that come in requesting to have an assessment put on their properties in order for us to repave roads.
Right.
And that is basically what this would be to cover, so that what we wanted to do was we wanted any new subdivision that was being developed to go ahead and have this in place so people would understand when they were buying property in these new subdivisions that they were going to be responsible for their private roads. Because so many people don't understand that, and that we could go ahead and have this in place and go ahead and start collecting the funding so it wouldn't be as much of a financial burden to them when that time does come.
In fact, I sort of remember in Rainbow Springs, there might have been a problem about 10 years ago.
Yeah, that was a totally different issue, if I remember
But I have to
correctly.
apologize. A few lawyers,
It's okay.
money-making people, really caused a lot of trouble for you folks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about
We're
that.
just trying to make sure people
Right.
are
No, it's
prepared
good.
for what's going to be coming.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nectel. Do we have anyone else in the public to speak on this matter? If not, I'll bring it back to the board, and I've got a motion by Commissioner Moore.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Zalek. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
That motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Hubbock.
Thank you, commissioners. Have a nice day.
Yes, sir. You also. Let's see. That's going to take us to committee items. We have a Marion Oaks MSTU for General Services request for appointment for one full member for an unexpired term.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Elodie Foresca. Fonseca receive the appropriate votes.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Bryant with a second by Commissioner Moore to approve Elodie Fonseca. Thank you, Fonseca. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously.
Madam Chair, may I?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, Mr. Munoz, probably, we had all already cast our ballots before you got up to the podium to speak.
Yes.
And then, unfortunately, one of your persons, he just passed away not too long ago. So there's going to be an opportunity.
Sorry, you all, we can't have any talk back and forth, but perhaps you can come back to the podium at public comment. Okay. Notation for action, we've got a request for approval to reschedule a joint workshop with the City of Bellevue from October the 30th to December the 9th at 2 p.m. at the library headquarters. Has everyone had a chance to review your calendar and confirm that that date will work for you?
Yeah, that works for me. Work for everybody else.
Okay. I've got a motion by Commissioner Moore with a second by Commissioner Gold to change the joint workshop with the City of Bellevue. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. That's now going to take us into public comment. So I will open the podium for anyone who wishes to address the board concerning any issue. I invite you to come forward now. There is no one who signed up for 5 minutes, but we have opportunity to invite anyone to come forward to address the board at this time. Mr. Munoz? Shall I close public comment? Okay. Seeing no one in the audience to come forward, public comment will be closed. We also have a request to approve the renewal of our surety bonds for commissioners.
So moved.
Got a motion by Commissioner Moore.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gold. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. That's now going to take us into commission comments, and I will start to my left this time, Commissioner Gold.
Nope, I'm good.
All right, Commissioner Bryant.
I'm good.
Commissioner Zalek.
Yeah, I actually had something I thought was kind of really cool and important.
Yeah.
Around our country, there have been some local ordinances in place that municipalities and other organizations have actually put in place kind of preemptively. And I was wondering if I could get permission to work with our attorney to bring back a draft ordinance in regard to the adoption of Marion County being a pro-life county. There have been some ordinances passed that get ready for if Roe v. Wade gets overturned in the Supreme Court, and then it would already be in place in our ordinances ahead of time. And so they're crafting some of those things, and I was hoping that I could at least have the permission of the board to work with our county attorney and then bring back something, it very well maybe beginning of next year, but was hoping that I could get that permission from the board to work on that.
Yes. And then also, I'll just mention Mark Mink from Gainesville. You might want to contact him.
Okay.
I'll try and get you his
Thank you.
contact information.
I appreciate that. Yeah, and any other information that you guys come across as you're traveling or see those things. I've seen them implemented in Texas, a few of them in one other state. And so I know that there probably had to be some modifications to those based for Florida, or whether we can even do it or not. But I still think it's a great idea to at least explore and investigate if you don't mind.
I think we're all in favor.
Thank you.
Anything else, Commissioner Zalek?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Commissioner Moore.
Well, I'd like to say thank you to all Marion County employees for coming in, day out. We had the Employee of the Quarter, but really every employee deserves an award with how awesome we are here. Because when we go around the county, and like we'll be going up to DC, we go to Tallahassee, we go other places, and we run into people from other counties. And by far, Marion County employees shine above all the other counties. I see we're the best county and the best state and the best country in the world. And I mean it. We really have phenomenal. And what makes our county so phenomenal is our employees. And also thank you to our first responders who day in, day out give of themselves to keep us safe and to protect our lives. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Commissioner Moore. Well said. I've got a couple of items, and this is to address Marion County's health ranking. And I see Mr. Lander from the Health Department in the audience, and I thank you for being present with us today. And so, Mr. Lander, I'll even cue you up if you have anything after my comments. I welcome you to come down to the podium this morning. Marion County is ranked 52 out of 67 counties, and this is throughout the state of Florida in overall health. And just as a reminder, what that does is people at a certain age, if they die before that certain age, and I'm sure Mr. Lander will give us that, when they die prior too young, basically, it hurts our rankings. And we've had a lot of great things that we've talked about, how well Marion County does so much. We're a great place to live, work, play. I've got some organizations that are going above and beyond for the citizens of all of Marion County to improve our health rankings. And just a little backstory as well. The Marion County Hospital trustees have identified diabetes, heart disease, and stress, as well as smoking, contribute to helping pull those stats down, and people are dying too young as a result of that. So we've got an organization, Zone Health and Fitness, who has put a challenge out to everyone who lives and resides in Marion County to spend 21 days free of charge in their gym addressing these issues. So a big shout out to the Zone Health and Fitness. And we've got some information, I believe, out in our foyer. If those of you who are present today want to get that information, and those of you who are listening online, it's www.zonehealthandfitness.com to get additional details. And speaking of our Marion County Hospital trustees, they have put together it's the AMP, and many of our employees here in Marion County are signed up to participate in AMP, and that is Active Marion Project to get people moving. And every quarter, based on your number of steps, you rank at a certain level. And early on, I used to bring my little awards out and show everybody, and this quarter I'm bringing my awards again because I think it ties into getting Marion moving. And based on my rankings this past quarter, I have this really nice it's a stainless steel straw, thank you, to go in whatever drink, and it's also a little cleaning brush. So that's really cool, as well as this little silicone baggie that you put food in for storage. And so this again is something that people can use. And this is for everyone in Marion County who signs up, gets moving. You win these prizes. And I say prizes, these awards, because you earn them based on your activity level. So those of our Marion County employees and the rest of Marion County, I encourage you to go on to the AMP movement, Active Marion Project, and participate. And it's fun to just track and see where you are in your activity level. And if you like a little competition, you can always challenge someone to be your accountability partner with you. And lastly, I will thank the hospital trustees for recently paving a trail, which is part of the AMP project that is on Marion County property here at 601 Southeast 25th Avenue. We are going to have a ribbon cutting on the 24th at 8:30 a.m. and we will be cutting a ribbon on our paved walking trail. This walking trail is open from sunup to sundown. It's for all of Marion County to come out and enjoy and hashtag join the movement. and we'll be meeting somewhere behind this building, a little bit over to the north. You should be able to see it. Maybe we can put a sign or some balloons out there that morning for anyone who cares to join us as we cut the ribbon at 8:30 a.m. on the 24th. So my comments today are really all about health, and based on being under the weather, it's perfect for me today to be able to invite people to participate in getting moving and improving your health for the good of those that you love, because the better you take care of yourself, the more that you can take care of others. And Mr. Lander, do you want to come forward and help round out my comments this morning?
Thank you, Commissioner Stone. If I may have just 2 minutes, I'm
Sure.
never going to miss an opportunity to talk. And Commissioners, how's everybody doing this morning? It's good to see you as always. You point out very good information when it talks to the health rankings and why we rank where we do. For those that don't know, the rankings are broke into 2 specific areas. The first being our projected future health, and those are a lot of the initiatives that we're doing. And the other piece, which is what really brings us down, is the piece what's called years of life lost, potential years of life lost. An average age of 75 years is as calculated in all of us. Every year that we die under that, or that we have someone pass away under that age, calculates against us in a different ratio. If somebody dies at the age of 25, they now lose 50 years of life lost off that potential in our county. Typically what we see, and I think it was from the individual who spoke in here earlier, a lot of the issues we see are with mental health and substance abuse that the hospital district is working on as well. Those issues lead to drug overdoses, they lead to suicides, they lead to vehicular accidents, which takes our young individuals away from us in the community. And what I think is an amazing thing about Marion County are the partnerships that exist, because that is what's going to address the health issues when it comes to, if we look at the obesity and our heart disease and our cancer, there's a lot of different things working on into the community right now where we're addressing that. But when we go back on the mental health piece, that's where we've kind of been, there's been some gaps. And I think just recently, you were at the opening of Beacon Point. I think that's going to be an amazing partnership in this community, addressing some of the needs that are out there with our citizens. And I do believe that will lead to lowering that number. If we get people into help, we get people into treatment, we're going to see less of the substance abuse issues and all the other issues all the other issues that follow with substance abuse. We read now about hepatitis A in the state of Florida. It's no coincidence that hepatitis A, if you look at the counties where they've had an experience in high numbers, they also have substance abuse issues, because that's a population that tends to easily transmit hepatitis A. So there are other issues that once we address locally, substance abuse, mental health, we're going to see other health areas start to increase, because they all intermingle and they're intertwined. So Marion is doing an amazing job putting partnerships together, putting the resources out there. Now it's our job to get those individuals to those locations. So thank you guys for letting me talk for a couple minutes. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you again, Mr. Lander, for all that you do to help us spread the word. And again, I invite everyone who would like to come out and join us in our Health Happens movement on the 24th at 8:30 in the morning.
You going to show your sticker?
I will, yes. So I have a
Yes.
Cinderella sticker.
Okay.
This is my little enticement to go in next week to get my hepatitis A vaccine. So if you haven't had your hepatitis A vaccine yet.
We thought we were going to see you, and that's what I prepaid it. Now you have
Right,
to.
I have to go do this, and so I believe that someone will be documenting my experience for anybody who might have trepidation in going and getting their shot. I'm going to go get mine, and it will be documented and put out there for all to see, but he had to bring me this sticker first.
We gave Preston his too, but I don't know if he
Gave
really wants to
Preston
show
his
it
too.
off. So.
Hey, Preston, he told me not to talk to you before I go get my shot. I don't know what that's about, but anyway, if I'm a big chicken when it comes to needles and shots. I hate them, but.
Y'all have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lander. And I have had my hepatitis A shot. You'll live through it just fine. No worries. And then you can wear your sticker proudly.
I can wear my sticker.
Okay. Commissioners, I thank you for your morning, and I look forward to seeing you back here at 1:50 today. We will be adjourned until 1:50. Recessed, excuse me. We will be recessed until 1:50 this afternoon. Thank you.